Let's talk about family today. What it is, God's idea for the family, and what needs to be done to restore the family. I strongly believe that the family is the key to a thriving nation. When a society is under stress, the first to feel its weight is the family. Think about it for a second. The family is the cornerstone of life, the most vital institution on earth. It is where everything begins. The first community you ever belonged to wasn't a school, a workplace, or a government. It was your family. It is where your values were shaped, where you learned love, discipline, and responsibility. Long before governments, schools, or any other system existed, there was family. It is the oldest institution on earth, created by God as His perfect design for humanity. The family is more than just a group of people living under one roof. It is the solution to the social, psychological, emotional, and spiritual challenges we face as a nation. If we want to heal our communities and rebuild our country, we must start with the family. We need to recover its purpose, restore its strength, and restructure it to thrive again. But let's face it, families today are struggling. They are battered, broken, and often barely holding on. Corruption, stress, and the societal pressures have taken their toll. Yet, despite all this, the family remains the key to building a stable, productive, and healthy nation. If we want to see real change, it starts here with the family. Strengthening this foundation is not optional. It is essential. Because when families thrive, society thrives. And when families crumble, society crumbles with them. How then does the family show up in God's plan, you may be wondering? I want you to think about it for a minute. God could have dropped Jesus from heaven like this, sent an angel to bring him, and many other scenarios you can try and play out in your head. However, God chose family to be the mode of Jesus coming to earth. When Jesus Christ came to earth, He did not arrive in a vacuum. He entered through a family, a mother and a father. This wasn't a coincidence. It was intentional. It reveals the immense value and necessity of the family in God's plan. In Luke 2:51, we see Jesus honoring his parents with obedience and his mother cherishing these moments in her heart. Within the context of a family, Jesus grew in wisdom, stature, and favor with both God and man. My friends, this is the blueprint God has designed for all of us. The Gospel of John reminds us that Christ came from the family of David and the town where David lived. His lineage shows us that family is more than just where we come from. It is both our history and our future. Your family is a part of God's greater story, shaping you into who you are and who you were meant to become. So what is a family? Let me define to you what a family is. At its core, a family is a group of individuals living together under one roof, often under one head. In the Bible, the Greek word oikos translates to house, family, or household. It represents the foundation of society, encompassing the physical and the individuals in that home, the family members, and their shared responsibilities. Interestingly, this word is the root of modern terms like ecology. You know that word, ecology, which is the study of the home, and economics, the management of the household. It reflects the idea of living and dwelling together as a unified whole. From a biblical perspective, a family begins with the union of a man and a woman in marriage. Together they become parents, either by having or adopting children and committing to raising them with love, discipline, and a strong example. Families are designed to pass on character, values, and convictions to the next generation. But here's the hard truth. We've drifted from God's original design. We've lost sight of the purpose and beauty of the family as He intended. The problems start when we compromise God's ideal. This is what we have done. We have compromised God's ideal. When we replace God's ideal with our personal experience or struggles, we lower the standard. And when we lower the standard, we create confusion for the next generation. For example, let me share an example. If a marriage ends in divorce or a child is born out of wedlock, we must be honest with our children and acknowledge that this is not God's perfect design. The truth must be clear. God's standard is marriage. Staying committed in that marriage and raising children within a family that includes both a father and a mother. We cannot afford to normalize our mistakes. Instead, we should strive to align our lives with God's standard. When we compromise that ideal, we diminish its value. For instance, children born out of wedlock often repeat the same cycle because they were never taught God's design for family. This is a spiritual issue that can impact generations. But here's the good news. Even in our mistakes, God is not angry. He calls us to be honest about our shortcomings and to share how His forgiveness has transformed us. But we must never normalize or justify what falls outside of His perfect plan. Instead, we should point others forward. We should point others towards His design, His grace, and His truth. God's design for family is unmistakable. While single-parent families do exist, this was never God's original plan. Children are meant to have both a father and a mother. Though God steps in as a father to the fatherless, this does not mean that single-parent families reflect His ideal. We must uphold and affirm the vital roles that fathers and mothers play in a child's life. In the same way, same-sex relationships cannot replace the family structure that God created. While everyone has the freedom to make choices, we cannot redefine family to align with personal preferences. Even nature itself reveals the purpose of the male and female relationships, which is reproduction and the continuation of life. People, I tell you, no law or societal shift can change the natural design that God has established. We need to remember that the family is not a creation of the state. It existed long before governments and serves as the foundation of society. Every government official, leader, and citizen comes from a family. When the state begins to define or control the family, it steps outside its original role. For instance, when governments dictate how parents should discipline their children, they undermine the authority of the family. And when parents fail to raise their children properly, the state often steps in through prisons, where it takes on the role of a parent, controlling every aspect of the life of the prisoner. Good people, If we don't address the issues within our families now, the state will attempt to address them later, often with far-reaching consequences. The family is the first and most essential form of society established by God and governed by natural laws. A nation is only as strong as its families. When families break down, nations follow. Every social, mental, moral, emotional, and psychological issue can ultimately be traced back to the state of the family. The government must recognize the importance of investing in families. There should be a national initiative where families can go and receive help, support, and guidance. This shouldn't be a branch of social services, but a dedicated system focused solely on ensuring that families thrive. Imagine a national program offering direct family training, equipping parents with the tools they need to raise strong, healthy children. From these families come presidents, priests, business leaders, and the future of our nation. If we want a thriving society, we must prioritize the family at every level. The purpose of the family is to provide security and nurture for its members. The sanctity of the family is the cornerstone of human survival. I want you to consider this. If everyone chose to live as lesbians or homosexuals, reproduction would end and humanity would not continue. Think about it. While people have the freedom to make their own choices, these choices cannot replace the natural design of the family. Even nature defines the family as a unit designed for reproduction and nurturing. The family also serves as a safety net. When someone loses a job or faces difficult times, the family is meant to step in and provide support. Many cases of poverty stem from the absence of family support. In Mark chapter 5, verse 18 to 19, Jesus restored a man and sent him back to his family, emphasizing that family is essential for stability, healing, and productivity. I know that we were taught. I know that we are not taught this. I know that this is not taught to us. But we need to know that the husband is the foundation of the family. This is God's idea, not our experience. He is the leader, while the wife serves as the vice president, and the children are the board members in that family. Decisions should be made with the input and consultation of the entire family. Managing a home is one of the greatest tests of leadership, and a strong family begins with a strong husband and father. By the way, can I ask you a question? Did you know that the word husband originates from house bond, symbolizing the one who holds the household together? A husband is not just a male figure. He is the glue that binds the family. This is why single parents often face significant challenges. There is no glue to hold everything together. As children grow into teenagers, single mothers find themselves crying out for help, seeking a father figure to bring some sort of structure and order to the home. And I'm not condemning single parents. That's not it. I'm talking about God's ideal plan. And as I come to a close, I want to reiterate that the family is the foundation of society. It is God's design and the solution to many of the challenges we face as individuals, communities, and nations. When families are strong, society flourishes. When families are broken, society eventually suffers. We must restore the family to its rightful place as the cornerstone of human life. By upholding God's standard for the family and investing in its success, we can create stronger communities and build a healthier, more stable world. Let's take families more seriously. Let us invest in rebuilding the foundation of society.